Well, greetings, friends. Here we are again, January 12th. Um, January 12th, 2022. Almost said 2002, but 2002 was 20 years ago. Imagine that. Imagine when it was 1999, and people are saying year 2000, a lot of computers going to go bad and a lot of things going to happen, and yet the clock's turn over at midnight on the year 2000 and everything was totally fine. 2002, 2001, um, 2001 was September 11th, that catastrophic um, disaster that happened, terrorist attack, United States, 2002. Can't tell you what happened there. But here now we are 20 years later in 2022, 2022. Life has flown by. Life has flown by. And one thing that has happened is that God has remained the same. God has persevered. And this is the theme that Angus Bushan, is talking about in his book, the Bible 366 days. The Bible in 366 days for men, women, boys, and girls. And January 12th. And we're looking at Genesis 27, verse 5 to 10, and verses 18 to 24, where he talks about God perseveres. And let me start reading from verse 5, Genesis 27. But Rebekah said to her son Jacob, "Listen, I overheard your father say to Esau, 'Bring me some wild game and prepare me a delicious meal. Then I will bless you in the Lord's presence before I die.' Now, my son, listen to me. Do exactly as I tell you. Go out to the flocks and bring me 2 fine goats. I'll use them to prepare your father's favorite dish. Then take the food to your father so that he can eat it and bless you before he dies." So Jacob took the food to his father. "My father," he said. "Yes, my son," Isaac answered. "Who are you, Esau or Jacob?" Jacob replied, "It's Esau, your firstborn son. I have done as you told me. Here's the wild game. Now sit up and eat it so that you can give me your blessing." Isaac asked, "How did you find it so quickly, my son?" "The Lord your God put it in my path," Jacob replied. Then Isaac said to Jacob, "Come closer so I can touch you and make sure that you are really Esau." So Jacob went closer to his father, and Isaac touched him. "The voice is Jacob's, but the hands are Esau's," Isaac said. But he did not recognize Jacob, because Jacob's hands felt hairy, just like Esau's. So Isaac prepared to bless Jacob. "But are you really my son, Esau?" he said. "Yes, I am," Jacob replied. And Angus Bushan says, "Here we see how Jacob, a dishonest man, tricked his brother out of his birthright. Yet God didn't give up on Jacob, and he became one of the great spiritual fathers in Israel. This story confirms that God loves sinners. If God can redeem Jacob after what he did to his brother, then there's hope for you and me." This story is a story that always bugged me. Always bugged me. And I know Angus Busham talking about God persevering with Jacob. Jacob wasn't the only person that did wrong in this story. Rebekah did wrong, the mother, because you got 2 twin children, and it seemed like, okay, Esau was the firstborn. So regardless of if it was a twin or not, a triplet, a quadruplet, sextuplet, Esau was the first one, right? So the oldest child, especially the son, have certain rights according to the rules of the Israelites. Certain inheritance he would get because he's the firstborn son, right? I don't know if in these times that we have these kind of things again, because parents make up their own will, right? Their own will. Sometimes the firstborn may not even inherit anything. But back in these times, the firstborn got a certain percentage of the inheritance. And so he had only two boys. and you got Jacob and Esau. And you see, I called Jacob first, but Esau came first. And here is the mother had a favorite. It didn't say that Esau that Isaac had a favorite, but surely Rebekah had a favorite. Rebekah let me down, because after the servant had to search all over and find this woman, and she passed the test because she ended up giving the servant water for the animals and all that there. She passed the test because she had all the characteristics, but when she let me down because she had a favorite child. You can't have favorite children in the family, especially you, the mother. In my own family, I think sometimes in a lot of families, the last child become the favorite because I don't know what it is, but the last child always scrape up all the perks, all the benefits, however. But the last child always feel as if they neglected. But I see that so many times. The last child always feel this way. But that's not so. The last child is the spoiled child. The last child is the one that the parents like the most. And the first child is special. Like me, I'm the first because the parents experience the first thing about carrying a child and making mistakes and all that there with the first child. But after one or two more, they get more professional at it. And then they put all the experience and they pile it into the last one and make sure that they treat the last one and care for the last one in the best way because they learn all the mistakes from dealing with the 1, 2, 3, 4 that they had before. You know what I mean? And so, but Rebekah let me down. She let me down big time because she heard the father, Isaac, in the bed blind, and he losing his senses, and she said the man on the deathbed, and she heard the father now about to give the blessing, the inheritance to Esau, and she like Jacob, two brothers, twin brother, twin, and she know how the laws go. Esau supposed to get the thing, the birthright, they call it. And she called the brother Jacob and said, "Listen, I hear your father say that he's going to bless Esau. He sent him out now to go and kill the animal, go and get the thing, cook a stew. So what I'll do is I'll go and cook a stew and I'll cover up, because he can't see, but he can feel your brother and hairy, and yours don't have no hair. So because he can't see, he will want to make sure it's definitely Esau before he give the blessing. And so go there, and the two of them hatches came together, and the boy Jacob, he couldn't still say no to the mother. He joined up with the mother. That is the thing that let me down this story. The boy couldn't even tell right from wrong. He couldn't tell mommy, no, we can't do that. I love daddy. We can't fool daddy. No, so I love my brother. I can't do that to my brother. What the law said. I know I can't do it. He joined in. He let me down big time too. But the Angus Bush, I'm talking about God persevere because it's through Jacob, really, that then the line of blessing and so happened, for the Israelites. It happened through Jacob, They happened through Esau. So God had a plan. And this is the thing, that when some big mess ups happen in life, God can still use people that mess up big time. And that's a story and a reminder for me, because sometimes I didn't do the right thing. Sometimes I mess up, but God's still using me for right now. Even if things may change in a bad way or a serious way for me from how it is now, I think God will still use me because He may use me like Rebekah and Jacob as an example, and then people will behave themselves if they look on my life, my story, and say, "Oh man, he was doing some bad things," but God was still using him, which means that I better shape up myself so God can still use me. Now that's that might probably be happening if some person look on my life, with it, but because I am not an angel, I am not a saint, and maybe as I reflect now, maybe that's what's coming out. We are imperfect humans. Isaac was old and blind. This is abuse of the elderly and the vulnerable. There's a story gone wrong in these days. This lady would be sued. Esau could sue his mother, carried to court for damages because fraud and deception. A criminal thing the lady did there. She like it's the Old Testament time, and God had a plan. That's why she escaped. She and Jacob, and he always had to be running, and getting outsmarted, trying to outsmart. He start bad, continue bad, but thank God, it said God perseveres, and this is the thing. We sing a song. He looked beyond my fault and saw my need. But I can't get over it. Every time I think about this, can't get over Rebekah at all. A mother took one son to mess up another son and deceive one husband that she loved, that she married, that she promised to cherish in sickness and in health, in good and bad, for richer, for poor, for better or worse. My goodness, no, it's worse. It's worse now because she now going to get together with his son. I mean, these things you watch on TV, these things you read on a book, but you can't even expect to find in the Bible. In the Bible, you find out Rebekah, oh no, Jacob, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, Rebekah, Jacob, and all through the thing, the poor man on the deathbed giving out the birthright to Jacob when he's supposed to give it to Esau. I know God, you have a plan, but you read this story, you feel heartbroken, you feel distressed, you feel sad, you feel disappointed in this girl who was selected from a far land brought in, and this how she finished. This how she exited the scene. Oh my goodness! But by deceiving the husband in preference of the son. Oh boy! I know I keep talking about it, but as I read it here, man, it really shook me up. Shook me up because a lot of this happening in the world today. Within families. We just had to ask God to help us. Good thing that God perseveres. And while the father saying, wait, but his voice sound like Jacob, but the hand feel like Esau, and he rubbing the hand. I said, okay, it's really you. And how the thing finished, the chapter finished. Is it really you, Esau? And Jacob saying, yes, it's me. Wait, but how I sent you out to go and prepare this stew. How we get back so fast? Well, God put the animal in the way that I could catch it and kill it and bring it home fast and cook it. Well, lies, and he said, my goodness, what a story. What a drama. If this was libel and slander, oh my goodness. Why it's terrible. It's terrible. As I reflect, I'm talking to myself now as I reflect in this devotion. But my goodness, we just had to ask God to help us to, stay away from going down this path. I think that's what coming to me. But because the results could be catastrophic. Yes, God had a plan and God worked through Jacob, even though he did his foolishness. And the line of David and so came, and the deliverance came through Jacob. But we often wish that that things wouldn't have to go through in a bad way, through suffering and sorrow. But my goodness, this one was rough. I tell you, through the Bible, in 366 days for men, women, boys, and girls, listen, everybody, start reading this Bible. Go over it fresh. Make it come to life for you again. And you will see that this book, the Bible, the Bible is old. The Bible was written years ago, but the things that happen in the Bible can apply to today. Applies to today, and ask God that through reflection of what you look at in the Bible, that He helps you to decide that you will live for Him and you will follow some of these things. And thank God because He perseveres, that He still works. That He's a miracle working God. He's a wonder. He's a miracle. He's a miracle working God because people say, can something good come out of something bad? Trust me, you read this passage? Yes. Yes. Blessings.